Welcome back, Arlington. It's Saturday night, and you know what that means. We're in the elimination bracket. This series is going to be for top 4, I believe. And we have Optic Gaming versus Sentinels. Dave, a massive series on our hands. These two actually played in pool play yesterday, and it could not have been any closer. It actually went the distance to Game 5.
Yeah, and we're going to have to see if that magic gets recreated. Keep in mind, Sentinels, they have the advantage of trying to kick them while they are down. Sometimes when you take a heavy loss like that, a 3-0 loss like that, you want to go back with the team. You want to regroup. You want to talk through a couple slight changes you want to make. Here, Optic, they're jumping right back into another match.
When you find yourself in these situations, Dave, throughout your career, what was said during such a quick turnaround?
In certain cases where you don't have much time, it's like, all right, guys, let's just step it up, make yourself harder kills, make sure to hit some shots. Stop trying to rely too much on each other in certain cases. I noticed that when I was with the team for so long, there are certain times you'd have tendencies or expectations, and you'd be like, oh, I expect so-and-so to be here and help me here. And some points you need to take that pressure off those expectations. You have to step it up a little bit more individually.
Yeah, I honestly think it might be better to not overanalyze in these situations. You know how strong of a team you are if you're Optic. You've got a great start here in Game 1 as Lucid with the shock rifle is ripping heads, and that is a way to gain momentum and get back on the right foot for Optic Gaming.
Yeah, great start right there by Lucid. Trying to look for that shock rifle, not able to just grab it right there for Formal. He's going to opt to grab some time inside this first hill. Whew. And there's a shock rifle.
Be careful what you ask for, Dave. He says, get over here to the shock rifle. As he's going to actually take himself into pipes now that his team has got back into the hill. Deadzone and Formal are going to swap. Let's see if this decision pays off, as the first shock rifle shot from Formal in this series is not going to connect. Good damage on the lethal bottom middle, and a great pivot to a second player to help his team stay alive.
And look at the strat from Optic. They just fully hold pipes and gold here. They don't care about getting those additional angles. They realize as long as they have this area secured, there's no chance for Sentinels to take over that hill.
Right, this is the most important place on this first hill. Unfortunately, now Falcated's kicked open the door. Can't hit the shock rifle shot, and there's still a member of Optic in that hill. At this point, Shirley going in Optic's favor now. Almost a flawless hill. So even though Sentinels are starting to finally get kills and break this setup, it's too little too late. They're down 1-0.
And that's not what you want to see if you're a Sentinels player. You're hoping to see a little bit more of a sleepy Optic, someone who just got beaten. Instead, Optic are coming out with a vengeance and coming out this game number 1 strong.
Yeah, you wondered exactly how Optic were going to start this game 1 off. It looks like it was a dominant fashion as we get a great angle of Penguin versus his monitor.
Well, we will find out what happened right there in just a bit, but you can tell Optic, like I said, coming out so strong. No question there on the individual side if people are going to step it up, or we're going to see an average Lucid, which is a god tier player, or an on-fire Lucid, which is a tier 1 god tier player.
Yeah, no bad forms of Lucid exist. I'm convinced. It's been a long time since I've seen that kid make a bad play, let alone have a bad game. And as we figure out the ruling of whatever technical difficulties going on, if you're an Optic fan, you're very happy with how that was going. And in my ear, I'm getting an update that there was an audio issue somewhere on the stage. So we might have a complete reset, but at least you saw positive things in that first couple of moments that allow you to say Optic are not fazed by what just happened against FaZe. They look primed and ready and focused to potentially go on a great elimination bracket run from just that glimpse.
Yeah, just from that little glimpse, they're looking real strong. But yeah, if there's an audio issue there, you have no idea what could have been happening on maybe the Sentinel side.
Yeah,
because
maybe somebody
when Sentinels, yeah, if they're not able to hear a teammate or not able to
or the
call
game
out properly or hear the game, yeah, it's a whole different playing field there. So we'll have to see how they come out strong, because as we look at these 4 players on your monitor, I've been so impressed with them all weekend long. I would say even LethuL, especially LethuL.
Yeah, especially.
I think that LethuL is one of those players that people are kind of, they've looked at and seen such a long historic career and like, all right, like, you know, is he going to be kind of more of the support player on these rosters? And I've been seeing him make plays where he's the superstar player on that roster.
The big thing that sticks out to me when you see LethuL's point of view, especially this event, as opposed to maybe year 1 of Halo Infinite, is how difficult of a kill is LethuL. I feel like in year one, you saw him getting, we call it average, right? Like you're getting 5-shotted and
out in the open,
dying quick. You're getting predictability nades are hitting you very often. Throughout this tournament, how hard people have had to work to take down just LethuL in specific situations have given Sentinels so many opportunities throughout these series. They do find themselves in a very difficult situation here in the elimination bracket, fighting for top 4, but you really can see the evolution of his Halo Infinite gameplay and how he has legitimately stepped it up as an individual.
Yeah, and you do feel like you've seen LethuL become a better player since separating from his old roster. Like, as an individual, LethuL has looked and played better throughout the rest of Infinite.
Couldn't argue with that. Absolutely. I think it motivated him, kind of a kick in the ass, right? Like, it wakes you up. It gives you another reason, a chip on your shoulder, you say, that I want to beat them. And, I mean, if we go back to the SSG event last year in Salt Lake City, where Sentinels not only beat FaZe once, they beat them twice, that was a special moment for LethuL to say, I am still one of the best to ever do it, if not the best to ever do it. And I'm still here to compete.
Yes, and so absolutely impressed with, like you said, with LethuL so far this weekend. Just heard in my ear that there will be 4 minutes on the clock and we're restarting, so I assume that's going to be a 1-0 in favor of Optic. I'll let you know if I hear different from that.
Yeah, didn't get a score, but I'm assuming if we're changing the time at all, we will also have the point rewarded for Optic. What a nice feature this is to add it to the game. You're able to set the specific score and the time, so we're no longer having to do math in our heads, Dave. I know math gives me a headache.
We're playing video games, not here to do math and do all these other subjects. We're here to game.
I feel like you got A's in math in school. And
I did. Actually, math was my favorite subject.
I slept during that. Yeah, I was up all night playing with neighbor until the wee hours, and then, yeah, math class, not my specialty. That's why I was a Halo player and don't have to do any more math, so joke's on you, math teacher.
Yeah, the only downside here, I'd say, for Sentinels is that they once again have to battle for the battery's hill. So we're going to have to see if that comes back to, did Optic get a good start, or is Optic the dominant team when it comes to this very first hill position?
Well, this time around, Optic are going to have a good start, and the first hill is in their favor. So bad news bears for Sentinels fans and the players right now. Precision with the big kill onto Lucid breaks open the map. Not too much progression from Optic, so what was looking like a big opportunity, Precision has said absolutely not this time around.
And look at how Precision just gets a wall and just peek shotting there. Confident, even in essentially a 2v1, saying, I have the advantage, I'm going to do more damage than you guys can be able to input on me.
Max damage output and max damage not received, I should say.
Avoidance, input, whichever.
Yeah, math, English. None of them are my strong subjects, but I promise you at one point in my career I was good at Halo. Deadzone back in the hill now, top batteries. Knows that there's a player in pipes. Teammate able to flush that out. 3 go down for Sentinels. Deadzone gets his rear back in the hill, and they start to acquire more time.
Now that's a little worrisome because we saw the work that Precision was doing there over in pipe.
I mean, he's 6-1 and 2.
Getting kills against a Lucid who had more shield than him, clearing out the rest of pipes, but the hill significantly in the favor of Optic. One stat you brought to me, Wes, earlier around the last time that these two teams matched was that Sentinels actually outslayed Optic by 6 kills in the series, which at that point, as you're talking about 5 games, isn't that much of a difference, but end of the day, they outslayed, but lost the series. That's usually a rarity that we see within Halo.
Yeah, usually if you get more kills, you get more done, right? Especially in the objective department. But right now, Precision has started this game off 6-2, 7-2, and 3. And look at the difference in progression on the first point. It has been all Optic gaming. Sentinels now finally in the hill. Penguin with the camo. And a big 1v1 for LethuL to win, to erase that camo. We now have another 1v1, Lucid versus Falcated, for the battle for map control.
Yeah, and Lucid trying to close that gap. Decides to just go right in the hill. Feels like the player must have gone towards pipe, but now he's going to be pitching here through needle side. Gonna have to see if this one death comes back to bite Optic because they don't have the greatest spawns, but I guess it doesn't matter. when Deadzone's gonna pick up 2 kills.
Deadzone with a big double should give Optic the opportunity here to not only score the kill point, but to go up 2-0 because of the reset. It will go to blue pipes, but Deadzone and the Optic green wall go up 2-0 now. It's a perfect rotation setup for Sentinels, so they're gonna get early progression here. Let's see how quickly Optic can take back control.
Yeah, Optic 2 down, and points going on the board here for Sentinels. Gonna have to see how long they can hold this blue pipes area. Falcated and Optic all fighting for this very important top gold area. Basically, it's going to have that top angle where you can shoot down into the blue pipes and try to keep someone out from such a safe territory. Looks like Falcated opted to just run away because realizes that he's either going to run to outnumbered position, and so I don't fully disagree with that.
No, absolutely. It actually pays off. Falcated able to find the first kill and get a lot of information on where Optic are going to be pushing from. But Lucid with the shock rifle is who you need to take down, and bubu dubu does just that. The push into blue. Here comes the other 2 members for Optic Gaming. It's Formal in the back of blue, getting hit by grenades, but no one's focused on him to take him down. The turn from Falcated, the duo, bubu dubu and Falcated find both kills, and now a massive 1v1 doesn't actually matter because bubu dubu playing from the hill scores the point and makes it a 1-point game.
Gets the point, still gets the kill, but maybe that matters in the sense of this camo. Bubu dubu now has camo. We aren't actually in any sort of position where Optic can really drain time, especially on this Needler hill. Teams can grab that once they get control, and so they are going to take their time, go for position. Bubu's going to wisely rotate out, let some of his teammates spawn, and then try to push it together. There's the pickup kill onto TriPPPeY, and Optic are in trouble.
Bubu dubu has some of the most memorable camo plays in the history of Halo, and this could be another one. A double kill killing spree as he picks up that player in the pipes. All 3 members of Optic towards the elevator. Formal sliding at him. A missed clamber cancel will allow Optic Gaming to take down bubu dubu. His reign of terror is over.
Yeah, the opening was there for Sentinels, but Optic, they pushed back into elevator, got the spawns, and just cleared out kill after kill. So even though they had such a great opening on the Sentinel side, Optic held strong.
Look at the kill differential now as the hills continue to progress. Precision was once 6-2, 7-2, and 3, now 9-4, and 10. The slaying is starting to slow down on the side of Sentinels. The hill progression in this 4th point is continuing to grow in Optic's favor because of it.
And look at that kill feed, just kill after kill. LethuL, the last one alive, and we've seen a lot of times where these last members of Sentinels try to push out, try to get a little bit more ground while they can, but in effect, sometimes it results in them getting staggered spawns. Sometimes they're trying to take up a little too much ground a little too quick, and now this is disastrous here for Sentinels. They have to get kills, they have to get them fast, and even after they potentially get these kills to the next hill, they have to also hit the top center hill.
Yeah, time all of a sudden a win condition in Optic's favor right now. A minute 10 on the clock. Every second the hill is neutralized is another second in Optic's favor. Sentinels still in control of this C-plat hill are going to have an opportunity to potentially let it rotate to bottom middle if they're able to cap this. But even then, that bottom middle hill becomes so contestable that Sentinels' win conditions are so difficult to try to perform to.
Yeah, they don't have the luxury of just sitting out the hill and slaying like Optic have. Optic can choose to grab that hill time if they wanted it. They'll likely just sit out and try to slay this out. But LethuL getting a nice pickup there on TriPPPeY with this camo. Can he get picked off? No, he doesn't. So huge play by LethuL. But now it's to decide what target is next. Gets the finish there, knows that the trap is set in Hydro. What does he do? He steps his toe for a second, but he has to get support before they can push back towards Hydro.
Yeah, such smart plays by LethuL playing his life here, though. A couple of kills have done a lot of good for Sentinels to try and cap this hill. Still 1 round of slays needed. TriPPPeY and Optic Form will pick up the first 2. LethuL's able to trade Deadzone out. Falcated finds one of his own as LethuL makes his way back to the hill, but they do not let him step foot in it once again.
Keep in mind, Optic, they're playing the time game right now. They will happily trade kill after kill right here just to take a little bit more time off the clock. All Optic have to do is try to slay and keep Sentinels on the hill for 30 seconds.
Formal anchoring this back blue position is being such a thorn in the side of Sentinels right now. 3-1, 20 seconds on the clock, and you're about 3 seconds away if you're Sentinels from capping this hill, but those 3 seconds feel like an eternity because of how well Optic have defended it.
Yeah, and all those times they were hesitant because they were so close on this C hill. that they didn't want to push towards back Hydro. Like, oh, we just got to hold for a second, shoot this person back there. But not clearing out back Hydro was their demise. And that's going to be game number 1 going to Optic Gaming.
Formal has been referred to as the human turret for a reason. He posted up back blue and never gave it up and denied any hope the Sentinels were going to make that a 1-score game. Optic Gaming respond with resilience here in the elimination bracket. After the series against FaZe getting 3-0, they do not seem to be phased at all.
Yeah, I was just going to say that you brought up Formal being in back Hydro. Like, I can't think of a better situation to play towards someone's skill set than Formal, not having to worry about any of their flanks and stuff. Just lock in towards one direction and hit every shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Post up, young man, and do your thing. We've seen it for over a decade across several different FPS titles, several different Halos even. If Formal posts up in a power position and you have to go to him, good luck.
But look at all these battles going on early over towards Pipes. That precision back and forth, min-maxing damage, input and output was so well done. These players, I was gonna say, that's probably one of the biggest differences we've seen with the Bandit change. Bandit Evo compared to BRs, like those peak shots are just becoming so much more devastating compared to before.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not peaking for an entire burst, and you're not hitting a partial piece of your burst. It's either a hit or a miss with an individual shot. So you see this peak shooting perform anywhere and everywhere where there's a wall, where a player can min-max their damage input and output. That was what I was trying to say earlier, by the way, whenever I went on whatever sentence I did go on. I'm sorry, I'm from the South. It's an us problem, not a you problem. Aquarius Slayer is the name of the game here in game 2, and I would say, Dave, I worry for Sentinels if they're not able to win this Slayer. On the bright side, though, they were able to win game 2 last time they played Optic in pool play. They lost game 1 and rebounded extremely strong, eventually pushing the series to a game 5. Do you think that that's going to be able to be the case? And who's the player that you're watching on Sentinels to pick up the pace and the energy to give their team more?
I mean, we're looking at these 2 Slayin leaders right now. I think you gotta look at the young gun here, Precision. Every single time these rosters pick up somebody a little more new or a little less proven when it comes to having more top 8 experience, you expect them to go into those wild situations and win those 1v1s that they shouldn't win, whether they're down a shot or whether they're down multiple shots and they get a melee in on somebody. I view someone like Precision, as we even saw there in Pipes, just doing so much damage. So that's who you'd rely on, and the stats also have showed it so far in HCS London.
Well, Dave the Stat Man himself here as the battle for overshields now ensues. All eyes on the prize. That extra layer of shield can do so much on a map like Aquarius where there's no power weapons to be seen. And here comes Precision.
Was that? Precision not only got the opening grenade kill, the plasma grenade somewhere on Deadzone, goes flying across Pink 2 and just challenges Formal.
Just like you were talking about, the fights that you have no business winning, the things that young players seem to do when they have that special of a talent. They get kills, they create space, they've given LethuL this overshield, and although the game is tied 3-3, you have to favor Sentinels with the map control that they have right now. However, they have lost to dubu. That overshield is deleted. The plasma pistol also takes down LethuL, and over Chow, some may say, Lucid takes him down.
But just as quick as they got those kills, kills have been answered there from the Sentinel side. No team here is safe, as every single time someone's called out across the map, they are melted. You see deaths going back and forth, but the good or bad piece from both sides is that you're not seeing a full clear from either side. You're not seeing a 2 or 3 down and no death. There are kills being traded back and forth, so no full setups.
So even though Sentinels have such a great start, it's a 9, make it 10-5 lead for Optic Gaming. Penguin, Deadzone, I keep calling him Penguin. The name change throws me off, but Deadzone with the heat wave is a menace to deal with. He is starting to really change the outcome of this game at 4-1-1 with this start.
Yeah, just been doing so much work, and keep in mind, Deadzone's first death was either a plasma stick or a plasma grenade, somewhere unsuspected Precision. So outside of that, has been unstoppable.
Good shots from Precision to take down Deadzone. However, Sentinel's still losing the combat loop here. 14-7, the lead extended to 7 now. Overshield's coming up in 5, and Sentinels almost need to get this in order to get right back into this Aquarius Slayer.
And look at how far away they are. They get punished so hard there. You saw bubu even have to jump from courtyard just to be the only player from Sentinels that could get an angle and view who grabbed the OS. That showed how out of position Sentinels were for that overshield.
Look at how Deadzone plays this. He waits, he pockets the overshield and is greedy with it. He waits to pop it to get the information of where Sentinels are. When they get the information, that's when he starts to pop it, because you don't want that overshield to dwindle while you're trying to get that information. However, Sentinels read the play, the grenades are true, the teamwork is perfect, and they go 3-0 against an Optic Gaming with overshield pushing into the base.
Optic with the right idea and the wrong execution. I feel like we've seen that from Optic sometimes in the past. I would say earlier in 2023, there would be times where they felt like they would try to make the right push and it just would be shut down. So that to me was them just saying they committed without having the damage they needed. They just said, all right, we got an OS in there, everyone charge in.
Pushing through those doorways can be so dangerous, but since then, Optic Gaming back on the feet, back on the map, have control, and a 9-kill lead to play around. So those 3 unanswered kills did not turn into any benefit for Sentinels from that point on.
And trading out some damage there. Lucid and bubu gonna melee each other to death. And that was gonna be a temporary all 4 down for Sentinels. So you see TriPPPeY trying to look for where these spawns are, because he realizes that they're not going to get split spawns at this point. They don't have too many members from Optic all across the map, and wants to spot out and make sure that they're spawning at the base, because if not, they could have went for either a fridge trap or maybe an unexpected util spawn. So all these players just try to gather as much information as possible after they get the kills.
It's a 13-kill lead now for Optic on Aquarius Slayer. That lead is almost insurmountable with the amount of control that they have. And Overshield as well is coming up here in 3 seconds. TriPPPeY and the boys have got the slays they need to get this Overshield as well. Optic look like they're rowing in final form.
Yeah, and just once again, you get them all down. They're all spawning in one location. TriPPPeY gets in front of their face. I wouldn't be surprised if we got another melee on bubu, just get extra damage out there. Deadzone with Overshield. I mean, there's not much going great here for Sentinels.
Optic have gained momentum in this series, something they weren't able to do against FaZe. 4 down again. Half the Overshield still left to play with, and Penguin is on the prowl right now, clearing out this blue base. Has got to be calming to his teammates right now. They have to be over towards yellow. There are players hiding pink 1 right here, but Penguin is going to spot the player in the corner, and Precision still right next to Penguin, trying to wait for the perfect moment. Does a good job, but the perfect moment becomes too long. Lucid able to trade it out, dropping down from pink 2. The reinforcements for Optic are here, and they make it an 18-kill game once again.
And Optic happy at any moment in time to just trade out a kill. That's also one of the luxuries that Optic is afforded, is as they get into a close-range battle, Optic says, sure, I'll do a 3-shot melee. Would you like to do the same? Whereas Sentinels, they are not looking for trades. If they want any chance of getting back in this game, they need to get some unanswered kills. They need to get 2 or 3 members of Optic down, try to get them on spawn trap, and limit their deaths.
It's Deadzone and Lucid leading the way for the green wall. 13, 5, 6, 11, 2, and 6. Both the boys on Optic right there are popping off with 24 kills combined, 41 to 25 the score line. They are the difference in this game too.
Deadzone seeing 2 members back in that flag. Look at how much of a nuisance Deadzone is being here. Just shooting these players, those 2 players in the back of the flag. We're still not sure if he's going to double back. Were they supposed to chase that kill? All that time, he's able to take away from Sentinel's attentions. Just shooting in the back of the flag, like I said, pushing towards that courtyard where he's not going to get flanked. And that's what you can do when you have a team spawning just in one location. The biggest downside to when you're all in one spot is you don't have additional angles to flush out opponents. And so people can go out in the open where normally they would generally get punished.
4 kills now to go, and Optic with another Overshield in the hands of TriPPPeY, looking to be aggressive, a lot of damage done. And Optic coming off respawns have so much room to play with. They are going to close this game 2 out. It's just a matter of time. And if you look at the stats right now, Dave, LethuL having a game to forget. The series isn't over, but you can tell Optic are starting to gain that momentum and feel themselves like they want Championship Sunday on their mind.
Yeah, and this is one that you're going to try to say, Sentinel's like, all right, we've got to shake off, but you don't have much more to shake off here. Your backs are against the wall. You're down 2-0 in a series to the 2022 World Champions. and something has to turn around.
And a much different series than yesterday. Optic have looked prime time here in the elimination bracket. They know what's at stake. They want to break out the championship whites tomorrow, and they are now one game away from making that a possibility.
These teams, when they start clicking, they're just so dangerous. These are sort of scores that you expect to see early on Friday at like pool play.
Yeah.
But right here, Saturday night, as these teams are playing for top 4.
It's actually crazy how you look at some of the series we've seen so far today. 2 3-0s in the winners bracket semifinals from Shopify Rebellion and FaZe against SSG and Optic. And now Optic and Sentinels going at it, of course, up 2-0. You're seeing another potential 3-0 on the verge of happening here. Momentum has got to be the word that we use. Teams that are gaining this momentum, and how important it is to be able to play with that level of confidence, Dave. Why is it so important that you win these games as a player? How are you like mentally feeling like you're the better team as you progress?
Well, before I answer that question, let's take a quick look at the elimination bracket. There might be some fans in here happy to know that Quadrant just won their elimination bracket match 3-1 over Proton Gaming.
I guess we're taking a look at the highlights here as Quadrant have dominant Argyle CTF. The snipes are so fun to watch. I swear Europeans are just better.
You didn't even have to tell me who won the series. Just show that clip. I was like, all right, I can tell you who won the series.
Yeah, exactly. Up 2-0 on Argyle, it appeared. And I mean, this is probably just a clinic taking a look at even just the slays, but objective efficiency. Quadrant, honestly, one of the better Argyle CTF teams. That is the second time we've seen them in the game on caps, and that never happens, I feel like, when we watch Argyle CTF games. We're always sitting there for at least 12 minutes.
Yeah, those ones are, that and Empyrean Flag are like, all right, we're strapping in for a 12-minute game, but
Dave's like, I got time to go to the bathroom, get some food, and I'll be back, and Argyle will still be here.
We're going to go to a 2-minute listen. I'll be right back.
Good times here as Quadrant, the hometown team, continued to advance to the elimination bracket. And if you remember, they were in elimination bracket round 1 against Native this morning. Or early.
Those are no easy matches. Taking out Native, then have to take out Proton, and now they have to face Space Station Gaming.
That's a tough pill to swallow, but with as good as Quadrant have looked, maybe there's a chance. They looked even great against Optic in pool play, pushing them almost the distance. The series was so close for them. So with this momentum that they built, and SSG coming on the back of a loss 3-0 that did not look good against Shopify, you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance. There is a chance. But enough about Quadrant here, as we got Sentinels tournament life on the line here in Game 3. It's been looking really strong for Optic, and let's see what kind of start we see from Deadzone and the squad. Are they going to give them any breathing room? And I guess that's no.
Optic have looked so good on oddball throughout this tournament, and what a game to try and close their Saturday out with right here. Sentinels looking for any sign of life, but they're not going to find it off the opening break. Lucid has the ball in hand. Deadzone with the red gun, and Camo is coming up. Optic look to be in prime position to get an early lead here.
This is tough. Just those staggered picks. LethuL getting picked just as soon as bubu spawned. So once again, Sentinels not at full force. They keep having a player picked, and so they're gonna have to decide, do they decide to make this push without a full team, or do they wait for a full roster to make their next charge?
They've made their way into PD, but they are getting flushed out. Lucid with this camo getting a minor amount of damage, but a ton of information that's allowing Optic to get the slays they need. Just 11 points to their name with this oddball, but all of these no-shield players and tires have got to find a way to have success. Trading with Lucid was a win. 2 go down for Optic, and Sentinels somehow have broken the setup in a very disfavorable position that they were in.
Well, luckily they broke that setup without having too much punishment. Only 8 points behind at this point in time. One other stat I'm looking at too is LethuL struggling in the kill department, but crushing it in the assist department. 4 assists, open up those windows for his teammates to pick up those slays. And we usually credit Optic for being the great rotators. Bubu, run that one all the way from back tower over towards Neon. The correct play.
bubu now with Bulldog shotgun in hand, gonna drop the ball and try and get a kill. Formal with some perfect shots, able to take him down. That second camouflage is gonna pop here in 10 seconds, so the kills are what matters most right now. The off-ball time, slightly irrelevant. That being said, Optic doing what Optic have been doing all weekend long, rotating the ball away from the Sentinels respawners towards their own. But as I say that, LethuL has something to stop this push from Optic, this rotation. The Bulldog shotgun has allowed him to find 2 kills at the perfect time.
Yep, and those pauses or delays between charging up from ATMs were all the difference maker there for LethuL. Even though he didn't take any damage from that first shot in melee, his spot was given up. He knew if he jumped or clambered up there at the ATMs, he was just gonna get melted. Instead, he could stay down ATMs, and those players were not gonna look away from that location, knowing that Bulldog was that close.
And because LethuL gets those kills, they're able to get the camouflage in the hands of bubu. Bubu able to throw the ball back towards his team with that camo, keep his shield, and now try to be a nuisance front tram. Able to find the first kill. Deadzone having to try and commit to him is caught out. Precision and bubu work together to take down Deadzone. The slays are going in their favor. And all of a sudden, Sentinels are building a lead.
Buzzy too deep in here. He was too deep in Tram, and so now they cannot rotate that ball over tower. They're bringing the ball over towards Tram. So great play there by Sentinels reacting to the location. I just assumed that they were going to keep them spawning over in Tram and then keep the ball over towards tower/cafe side, but looks like it was great ball rotation for the second time there from the Sentinels roster.
Yeah, great rotations, the heads-up plays to follow up on the damage that bubu and Precision were doing over towards Tram. However, since then, the ball gets cut off as it was attempting to be rotated top streets. Now Lucid going to try and bring that ball towards Tram as Sentinels all comes off respawn.
That's such a smart spike grenade there, too. I've never seen or attempted that one where that possibly would hit the person over at the dumpster.
Yep, absolutely. Lucid teaching us all a thing or two with his gameplay, as he normally does. One of the most innovative players we have on the scene, I'd say. When you watch him, usually you learn a thing or two, and he has perfect shots to match as 3 go down. Or 2 go down for Optic. Lucid doing everything he can as he gets another player to no shield with the melee that plays the ball even front trash. That grenade sticking into the ground is not what bubu attempted to do. And because he gets knocked to no shield, this situation becomes so dicey.
Yeah, bubu's gonna try to get a play ball there. Tosses out towards bottom center, but is it enough? Bomb center toss only works if you have people to watch it. But there's 3 down. Falcated, the only one left.
Formal with a big one-on-one win against LethuL for the double kill will allow Optic to get right back into this round. They should be able to tie this up before Sentinels have a chance to come off respawn. Formal gets information that tires and heaven are the places the Sentinels are located at first.
And this is such a good trap, but it was sniffed out. Falcated somehow finds
wow.
Horrible. Somehow gets 2 sticks onto LethuL and Falcated. Somehow equalizing that situation. I was praising how good that step was from Optic because they knew that Sentinels wouldn't just beelining across the map. They wouldn't just go down bomb center or straight across Neons without getting the slays they needed to first on B Street and Rail. And so they set up this trap deep off the B Street, over near the planters, over near Arcade. But somehow, Sentinels figured it out. They got the kills, but those 2 sticky grenades from Formal changed everything.
And look, it's changed this entire round. Ever since then, Optic are in the driver's seat. A 23-point lead at this point, and continuing to expand as TriPPPeY continues to put in work with the Stalker rifle.
Yeah, TriPPPeY getting a little more damage there. I like that little rotation over towards the balcony. That way he's not just stuck over on the ledge side. But looks like Formal and TriPPPeY know there are too many players pushing in. They cannot get any more ball time. It's time to turtle up and play some defense.
It's a 2-on-2. Deadzone and Lucid versus bubu and Falcated. Lucid's all the way towards tires, far away from this ball. Spotted out by bubu, but able to play his life. What a difficult kill Lucid can be at this time.
And just look at how smooth Lucid's movement is. Think about how long. I want people to remember, next time you go to matchmaking, just try to do that jump and see if you're doing that instantly, that quickly over into tires without taking the extra second, without your ankles just barely clipping the bottom there.
It's the little things that make these players so great. 3 still down for Optic right now. A melee war right there in the back of Tram is Deadzone, able to trade his life out. Sentinels are going to have the favorable position for this oddball, but Optic are off spawn, and let's see if they can break the setup because they are only up around 10 points at this moment.
Now have the ball, though, like you said. Lucid is overlooking his teammates pushing towards Tram. Didn't want to risk it, so he decided to start to push him from B stairs just in case as insurance. But the job has been done. They at least have tram control, but they cannot rest easy.
Somehow Lucid stays alive. That death grenade from Precision. Very unfortunate for Sentinels fans right now. That ball neutralized in the back of Ivy is the place to watch right now. Sentinels have spawned in the red room, and they are going to have a close push right here, but time is ticking.
And you got to wonder, they cannot just hold it here. I feel like Sentinels has too many numbers. There's Deadzone and TriPPPeY. Lucid cannot get this play ball. This ball's going to go in the hand of Sentinels, and Lucid's just trying to buy as much time as possible.
He buys as much time as he can, but still all 4 down for Optic. 70 points for Sentinels and starting to climb. They will be able to tie this game up before Optic can really get into the back of Tram. One more round of slays may be what decides this game.
This last push is likely going to be the decider. You see Sentinels trying to scrap up the last few seconds. They realize it's going to be decided by who wins this next fight, and it's Falcated versus the world. Lucid going to put the pressure on, grab the ball, put on a few seconds, and I don't see anyone in position yet. Can Falcated get there quick enough? I don't think so. This is going to be round 1 going in favor of Optic Gaming.
Optic Gaming showing the ice now that they're in the elimination bracket once again here. In round 1 of game 3, it came down to 1 set of slays, and Optic decided to push over towards the B side. They found the first kill, it snowballed that with their teamwork into a round 1 win, and now Sentinels are on the brink of elimination.
1 round in, and I mean, it looks so good off the start there by Sentinels. They were doing so good getting the ball, breaking the setup, but in the end, it feels like a bad rotation or leaving the ball towards Tram in situations came back to bite them.
Yeah, just that first death was everything I think Optic needed. But right now, Lucid continuing to play almost perfect Halo, as he is such a difficult kill every time we see him on the map. TriPPPeY anchoring this B balcony situation is going to get caught off guard by LethuL and have nowhere to run. LethuL almost dominating Formal, but 1 shot away is what he will be remembered for, because Formal finds the kill.
Gets that kill and slays back and forth. Nobody grabbing the ball because they realize kills and camo is what we need to focus on now. Lucid gets the camo and now trying to sniff out where this player's at. Finds position over the benches. Takes too much damage. Lucid going to wait back. Wow. And just somehow gets hit by those grenades. 2 frustrating times. This series and the previous series where Lucid has camo. It's like, how am I just getting picked apart here across the map?
You can tell the tendencies and the predictability of where these camo players are supposed to be. These players are so good at knowing that, pre-grenading that, and even being rewarded with that. The camo, non-effective for Optic Gaming, but what has been effective is their ball rotations. As they've made it all the way to PD with the ball as all of this has been going on, they have now built themselves a 17-point lead here in round 2.
And look at this strong rotation from Optic. 2 members dying to get this ball all the way towards courtyard. Is it rewarded? But bubu is already at the Tram side. Last time we saw Sentinels with Tram setup, they did it for a little bit. I want to say they got the 15, 20 points, but I felt like that's where Optic really shined. It felt like when the ball was over on Tram side of the map, Optic was winning. So despite it potentially being the best position on paper, because you should play the ball where it's at that time. You can't always force a PD setup or a tower setup or whatever. But I do feel that if you seem to have more success in one area and you have the option whether to rotate there or to avoid a certain area, you need to play to your strengths.
Speaking of playing to their strengths, Optic with camo have been so effective throughout this series, and once again, that ball being put where it was by Optic made it so difficult, even when Sentinels had 3 down, to get a touch. They weren't even able to get a touch. That ball resets, and with the new camouflage, Deadzone has given Optic Gaming an opportunity to rotate that ball back tower. They're going to swap out.
That swap is so disgusting. The fact that they're just doing it, not even a second of time was missed. There's like, I'm going to be recovering shield anyways. Let me grab some ball time. You go do some instant damage.
Min-maxing with the team where you can tell how effective and efficient Optic Gaming's communication must be right now.
That is so impressive, and I mean, that's what you're going to see at the very highest level of play, those slight rotations. And you know what, in many games, it might not make the difference. You're not going to win every game or lose every game by a second, but that's what these players are so good at, is getting those little fraction percent better than their opponents.
Yeah, 2 or 3 seconds might not seem like a lot, but they add up, and some games come down to those moments. So a phenomenal job here is Optic Gaming seeming to play near perfect. They go 3 down for Sentinels. Optic Gaming with this back tower setup, holding strong and now up 51 and climbing.
Yep, Formal knowing the push coming on over from B Street, starting to ping over there. Lucid holding down PD, gonna see how many players can damage him. Look at that, he's not even just caring about just the closest player, just getting out damage, realizing that's gonna be taken advantage of by his teammates.
Yeah, Optic had the opportunity to play such a significant lead, but
no business. Once again, no business.
Right there. Camo, I believe, is going to be in the hands of Sentinels as those slays came in just as it was coming up. Bubu with this camo in hand needs to find a massive impact for his team to get back into this because they have dug themselves the biggest of holes here.
Yeah, we saw some great individual plays there. Now can they string that together as a team? Down by 40 points. Camo being shot out. Camo's being taken down. Now to Precision get a good spawn. Yes, he did. Spawned over at Tram. Optic have to sprint away from Tram instantly and put this pressure on the ball. Precision's help has come from behind.
Precision by himself against the world right now. TriPPPeY with the Reckon can't quite get the job done to take him down, and because Precision stays alive, that ball stays out of Optic's hands.
And TriPPPeY in no rush to go over there and challenge. Ball's not being picked up, and he realizes, hey, if they haven't touched it yet, they're not going to do it right now. They're going to wait till they get some damage. So great job reading out that play there from Sentinels.
Yeah, Precision now with the reach out onto TriPPPeY, a battle that has been going on for about 20 seconds now. Precision opts to back up, and with that, here comes Lucid, a double kill in the kill feed. 3 go down for Sentinels once again. The ball being rotated away from Ivy as 2 players from Sentinels spawn. The split spawn actually Optic are aware of. They get the 2 kills they need to bring the ball right back into the back of Tram, where they have found so much success so far in this game.
Sentinels should be able to get this pick onto Formal, who's sitting behind them, so they get this first opening kill. Now they can charge this 4v3/4v2 since the ball carrier is holding the ball this time. But they need to move quick before Formal spawns. Formal is likely to get a flank spawn over at PD.
Yeah, and they don't have much time to play, around 1:17 on the clock and an 86 to 24 point differential. 10 points now is all Optic need to advance to Championship Sunday.
And it's just looking clinical here for Optic. You saw Lucid just rubbing his nose, calling out, we got this game, boys. And that's going to be a 3-0 for Optic Gaming.
Optic Gaming rebounded from the winner's bracket with a phenomenal series here against Sentinels on the back of Lucid himself, the superstar. He's awake, and he's made his way to Championship Sunday with the green wall.
What a tough event and tournament for all these squads. Sentinel putting up a valiant effort, but Optic, there's one of the squads, when they're on, they are tough to stop.
Yeah, a tough team to play for a top 4 entry, but honestly, when you look across the suite of teams we have here at the HCS, you're gonna play somebody good like we were talking about before the series started. Sentinels, a much better improved performance from Arlington as they got top 16 at Arlington, top 6 here in London. Something to build off of for the future though.
Absolutely. I mean, they've just looked strong, and they, you know, every team has had its stumbles and whatnot, but Sentinels looking real good going to their next event.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to see more of them, but I know a team we will see more of is Optic Gaming. A dominant performance here, and if you thought the green wall would go quietly in the night back to the States, I think they have something else to say about it.
That is correct, but congrats again once to Optic. They will be continuing the tournament life tomorrow, Championship Sunday. They are now a top 4 squad, and we are getting down to, I guess, there's technically 5 teams left. One of them getting knocked out today.
Well, I know we'll have an Optic Gaming versus SSG series tomorrow, but we have an interview tonight with the winner of that last series. Lucid is standing by with Blaze. Let's throw it over to them.